The railroads in Iowa started with one simple goal, and that was to get from the Mississippi River to the Missouri River and make a connection with the Transcontinental Railroad. That was the first thing that needed to be done. The other thing that needed to be done was bring settlers into the state. And because of that, and I can bring this map down, railroads were built all over the state by companies from outside, Iowa-grown companies, and some communities actually built their own railroads to make a connection, because in the 1860s, 1870s, if you did not have a railroad connection, you just were not going to prosper as a community. Now, I have looked at towns in the state, and I've come to the conclusion, at least by my reckoning, that the largest Iowa town to never have rail service is Trainer, of about 1,000 west of Council Bluffs. That's the largest town that didn't have rail service in Iowa. They built everywhere. And why did they build all over the place? Because there was wonderful farmland, which meant that there was traffic. There were supplies to bring in. There were crops to carry out. Cattle, pigs, chickens, whatever, corn, beans, all of this stuff. There was a lot of traffic. That was the most important factor. The other factor was, from the railroad standpoint, you can build across the prairie, but if nobody lives there, you don't have anything, because you don't have any passengers, you don't have any freight, you have nothing. So it was their idea, let's build across here and let's bring the settlers in. And they advertised. In Europe, most every European country, there were agents over there recruiting immigrants to come to Iowa and settle, because good land, good connections, and they could get there. There was so much there because you had the Rock Island, you had the Northwestern, the Great Western, you had the Burlington, you had the Norfolk and Western, and you had M and St. L, Minneapolis and St. Louis, and then you had the Des Moines Union Railroad, which was an outgrowth of the Hubbell family, because they owned a piece of land down there that every railroad car that came into Des Moines had to cross. And they got a little bit from every one of those. Talk about connections, because that's the only thing that counts. You could be in a little podunk town, but if you could get on a train, you could go anywhere. So you just had to have that first connection. And I told about my mother-in-law, who was a country school teacher up in northeast Iowa, and she was out in the middle of the county, and she wanted to go to the Century of Progress exposition in Chicago, 1932. Friday afternoon, school was out. She walked down the hill from the school to where the train came through. It was a branch line, so you could just flag it down, stop it. You didn't have to be at a depot and buy a ticket. Just flag it down, get on. Flag the train down. Of course, you knew everybody on the train. Everybody knew everybody up there. And then she rode down to Marquette. She caught the train there to take her into Chicago. She got into Chicago early Saturday morning. She spent all day Saturday, all day Sunday at the Century of Progress exposition in Chicago. Late Sunday afternoon, she got on the train, went back to Marquette, caught the branch line train going to Waukon, got to her corner, had the train stop, got off, walked up the hill to the people she was staying with, spent the night. Next morning, she was at the school bright and early. She had almost 2 full days in Chicago. She left Friday after work, got back to work Monday. Do any better today?